But one thing that, as the Attorney General today mentioned, the last of the judgments that he wrote was a 9 judges judgment, in which brother has written a concurring judgment, agreeing with me and my other colleagues, where we corrected what we thought was a slight error in the view taken by his grandfather, Justice Sinha. That also is a kind of distinction where the third generation rises to this position, sits in judgment over a view taken some 40 years ago, and says on consideration that, well, all is well, but this much or this part of the judgment needs correction, and that is where the correction came from the grandson of a judgment which was authored. The interesting part is that the grandfather was in minority when that judgment was given. And that minority view with that small correction or modification is today declared as the correct law of the state. Full of energy and youthful in temperament and in all, as the Attorney General mentioned, music in his ears and in life. He is going to have, I think, another innings. Allama Iqbal has said, जहाँ मैं अहले ईमा बसूरत खुर्शीद जीते. Khurshid is sun. You see, the sun appears to be setting, but actually it is rising elsewhere. You may see that it is setting here, but it is rising elsewhere. In America it is rising. So he says, जहाँ मैं अहले ईमा, men of faith, बसूरत खुर्शीद जीते हैं, खुर्शीद की तरह जीते हैं, सूरज की तरह जीते हैं. यहाँ डूबे वहाँ निकले, वहाँ डूबे यहाँ निकले. So you never know, he may be looking like a setting sun here, but he will rise somewhere else and continue to contribute to the society because of his rich experience at the bench and the bar, and continue to be a very useful member of the social milieu. I compliment him, I envy him actually, the kind of warm welcome, the farewell that you are giving him is something, you see, which is enviable for any judge who limits office. I really congratulate him for all that he has achieved in life. I wish him a very, very happy, prosperous, very healthy retired life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. जहाँ रहेंगे वहीं रोशनी आप लाएंगे, किसी चिराग का अपना मकान नहीं होता. And these are the words for Honorable Justice Shri Kirti Singh ji also. May I now invite him to come and say a few words, sir.
Thanks, Gaurav. Highly respected Honorable Chief Justice Thakur, my colleagues, Mr. Rohri has just left, Mr. Ajit Kumar Sinha, Vice President, Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, General Secretary, senior members of the bar, Mr. Nariman, Mr. P.P. Rao, other friends, lawyers, distinguished guests. It's indeed a dilemma what to say on the eve of a retirement when one is faced with a situation which comes only once in life. If I had been habituated, I would have known what to say and what not to say. But I've been hearing my friends on so many occasions, I know what are the right words to say. So I can thank all my parents, all my teachers, all my colleagues, all my peers, all of you members of the bar, which I do from the bottom of my heart. But when I'm leaving the precincts, I must tell you that when Brother Gowda retired on 6th October, thereafter I became the most aged judge in the country. So
I thought over it, I enjoyed it, and I started introspecting myself, whether I am walking properly, I am feeling the strength, I am able to understand what the members of the bar are saying, and I can say with pride that I felt very happy with the result. I found myself doing all that I was doing before a month or so. But the legitimate expectations have both effects. One creates rights, other creates liabilities. So once knowing the date of retirement creates that mood and the impression that one has come to the time where one must prepare, pack your bags, go back to your roots, home, and think of doing something else. That's the biggest thing on the mind. I would have loved doing that, but the roots are no longer there as intact as they were. So I've decided to be here where I've developed new roots. I've got a small house in Noida. So either I stay here in Delhi, if there is anything, or I go back to Noida. I'm very happy. Not that I'm the aged judge for the last 1 month, but I'm feeling very happy for the reason that the institution which I wanted to serve, I don't know why the thought came to my mind. I was being groomed for joining the defense services. My father, when new Sainik schools were opened after the Chinese aggression in 62. So in 63 I was sent to Sainik school Tilaiya. I did my schooling there, senior Cambridge, and unfortunately for some reason I could not join National Defence Academy. I was very, very upset. But when I was in 7th class, a very humorous, full of humor, I mean not humorous, full of humor teacher, serious teacher, Mr. Srivastava used to teach us history. And in 7th class, he suddenly decided to ask each boy what you propose to do in future. And when my turn came, without blinking my eyes, I said, I want to become a lawyer. Then he knew that my father at that time was a district judge, or he was a registrar in Patna High Court. So he said, I don't know whether you will become a lawyer or not, my son, but I know you can carry the briefs. There is a role for munshis. I said, I didn't have any answer to that. I remember Mr. Srivastava's comment, but I kept on analyzing for long how that reply came to my mind when I was fully prepared and geared to join National Defence Academy and Defence Services. But there was something like providence. I ultimately passed out, joined law. And Patna is not a very ideal place for practice because with even enough briefs, I was anyhow able to take care of needs of my family. So after about 10 years, I decided to come to Supreme Court for a while. And I passed the Advocate on Record examination in 87, 88, around that time. But I didn't feel the same comforts which I had in my house, because I had a number of juniors and many other office facilities, so I returned back. Fortunately for me, in 91 I became a senior, designated senior in Patna, and then things improved. Gradually I got elevation in 98. I was very much intrigued to hear the illustrious family background, but I could never feel it. I tell you honestly, for the good reason that I had of course played in the lap of my grandfather, Nana. And I remember having spent a month of summer vacation in 5 Hastings Road, which is now 5 Krishna Menon. So that was, so I spent 1 month there in 61, 62. But I never knew the professional side or the legal practice side, or what he was doing. It never dawned upon me. And before I came out of school, he had already retired. He settled here in Delhi. And my father was doing good in practice in 1956. But after the abolition of Jamindari, he told me later, he felt slightly unsure that all his clients have lost their Jamindari. He may not get the money and the brief. So he decided to sit for the Superior Judicial Service and became an ADJ. And then, of course, gradually in 67 he became a judge. I joined profession because of JP movement. I lost few years, so I joined in 77, and in January 79 he retired, superannuated. So I'm in midst of a larger family. I tell you what I experienced during those 2 years. That's a very unfortunate part, because when my father was still a judge, rather a senior judge, and I joined the profession as a junior, I remember many cases came my way which I was unable to comprehend, unable to understand. I was a raw junior, and then I was warned by a senior that it is for some other reasons. You have to be very careful. So I stopped signing wakalatnama, etc. For 2 years I was in a shell, and I could grow as a lawyer only after January 79 when my father retired. There was nobody else in the court which could shadow me. It was not a banyan tree, but it was for some other reasons. And I saw the side of profession, something not very healthy, which always kept me on my guards throughout my future career. So having seen everything, now I realize that there were very eminent lawyers, judges who helped me guide my future. My father himself was a great teacher, because when I joined profession I was very shaky, and I knew he will be retiring in 2 years' time. I said, I'm not very sure whether I'll be getting briefs from my Sivan district, because I don't know anybody. So how I'll fare in the profession? Of course I have decided to join it. He said, remember there are 3 C's. One starts with C, other starts with C, third also starts with C. That is client, colleagues and courts. So you have to respect all 3. Respect the client, respect the colleagues, respect the courts. And in return, if you get their respect, nothing can come in your way, you'll fare well. And I stuck to those 3 words, and I tried to do my best in the most adverse situations. I remember when Justice Bhatt came to my court as Chief Justice from Gujarat. Gujaratis are very prosperous. So he started making inquiries, how much is the fee, etc. of the lawyers. I told him, I was sitting with him as a judge. So I told him the fees. He said, all of you are doing legal service, free legal aid. What to do? The clients have no capacity. So all lawyers are accepting that fee only. Patna High Court has a very low fee compared to other places. So in those atmospheres, but the quality of Patna Bar has been good. I have learned there, and I know after coming to this place, I have grown immensely. During 6 months that I spent as a 6 to 8 months in 80s, that helped me grow substantially. My performance increased because Supreme Court has a different environment. When I went back, I fared in a much better way. So High Court responded by designating me as a senior after 3 years. But the confidence came from the exposure which I got in the Supreme Court, limited exposure. But the confidence was there. And today, after having spent 3 years here as a judge, I'm a much more satisfied, much more confident person. I know what to do, what to say, and after that I come to the most difficult part of my, because I want to give some kind of message. I have a wish, and it is very intriguing. As a sitting judge, I may not have ventured to do it, but one question, I belong to a family where there were other judges, and today there is an old saying, justice should not only be done, it should appear to have been done. What the questions are being raised about appointment of judges to superior courts has intrigued the minds of all those who are well-wishers of judiciary, including myself. We have to find right answers, and so that people are satisfied. Not that we are getting the best, but we are getting the best in the way they also expect, that everything has been taken care of. And therefore I may be absolutely wrong. I am not claiming anything, but I have a wish, and I may not get the opportunity of addressing the best bar in the country. members from the best bar. So I take this opportunity, you'll excuse me, I have a wish, and that is, bar should think out of box to explore the various possible ways and means to develop a new idea for recruitment of judges at higher levels. I wish it could be done purely on merits by setting up eligibility criteria enough to eliminate those whom we don't want, and then through a competitive exam or test by an expert, independent and autonomous body set up on the lines of Union Public Service Commission, a judicial service commission under the control of the highest court, under the control of the bar. And I claim no merit in my wish, but I wish the bar to give a deeper thinking, just think about it, because